1.4, literal equations. They look so scary, but don't be scared. It is just rearranging formulas. We're going to follow the same steps that we would to solve an equation. The only difference is we are looking for a specific variable, and it's all going to be letters, so we usually can't combine like terms. We're just getting one letter by itself. So let's take a look at number 1. So it says solve for W. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight W. W is what we want to get all by itself. So I'm going to ask myself, what is being done to W? Well, it's right beside L, so we're multiplying by L, or times L. How do we undo multiplication? With division. So we're going to divide by L on both sides. So if I do that, that gets rid of my L's, and I end up with A over L equals W, which is answer choice D. Number 2, we're going to do the same thing. So it says solve for H. I don't know why there's a W there. We want H by itself, so I'm going to highlight H. And again, we're multiplying by B. I undo multiplication by dividing, so I'm going to divide both sides by B. That's going to get rid of my B there, and it's just going to be 1H equals A over B. So that's going to be answer choice C. Same thing for H. I don't have the prompts there, but you can ask yourself the same question. So if I'm solving for H, I'm going to highlight H, and we are multiplying by L and W. Okay? You undo multiplication by dividing, so we're going to divide by L and W. It's going to get rid of our L and W over there, and H is equal to A over LW. Alright, so not as scary as it seems. We are just following the same steps that we normally would to solve an equation. There are just no numbers. So number 4, let's look at C. We're solving for C. Well, what's being done to C? We're subtracting S. To undo that, we have to add S. That looks like a 5. Make sure you're keeping your letters straight. So that we end up with M plus S equals C. And it looks like if we flip it around, that's going to be answer choice B. Solve for M. I'm going to highlight my M right there. So I am dividing by V, so I'm going to multiply by V to get rid of that on both sides. So V times D equals M, which is C. Number 6. We want to solve for B, but look, B is trapped in a box. We have that big, long fraction bar there, so I've got to multiply by D first, just like I would in an equation. That's going to cancel out, and I end up with dA equals B plus C. Notice I can't combine any like terms because we don't have the same variables. They're all different letters. But I'm still trying to get B by itself, so I'm going to undo what's being done. I'm going to subtract C on both sides. So I'm going to end up with dA minus C equals B. And I know you're thinking, well, I don't see dA minus C. That's actually going to be answer choice B because the when we're multiplying, we can put them in either order, okay? So if you have a term that says AB, it can be the same as BA. Doesn't matter what order the letters are in if you're multiplying. Number 7, we're solving for W. So remember, we are going to add and subtract first, then we'll do our multiplication and division. So I'm going to take this whole term, it's being added to 2W, so I'm going to subtract 2L on both sides. So I end up with P minus 2L equals 2W. And I want W by itself, so I have to divide by 2 on both sides. And remember, I have to divide that whole side by 2. So we end up with P minus 2L over 2 equals W, or B. Here we're solving for Y, so I'm going to add and subtract first, and I'm going to take that whole term away, so I'm going to subtract A on both sides. That goes away, and I end up with BY equals C minus A. And to get Y by itself, we've got to divide by B on both sides. So Y is going to equal C minus A over B. Hopefully you're starting to get the gist of this, but I'll do a few more. just in case. So we're solving for r here. What's being done to r? Well, we're multiplying by 2 pi. So we've got to undo that by dividing by 2 pi. Okay, so we end up with r equals c over 2 pi. 10, these are not telling us what to solve for, but rather they're formulas. So if you saw one of these and you were trying to solve for a specific variable, you should be able to arrange it to solve for whatever you need. So let's say I was solving for h here. I would divide by pi r squared on both sides. And then I've just changed that formula to fit my needs. Okay, so if I was looking for the height instead of volume, then I could rearrange it for whatever I need. So if we're talking about area and it says, well, what's the size of the base? Well, then you would need to rearrange it to where we're solving for base. So we would divide by 1/2 and h, which would get rid of those, and we would end up with 2a over h equals b, because if we divide by 1/2, that's like multiplying by 2. And then we've got that formula rearranged for b. Same thing with volume over here. Say I was looking for the height. I could very easily just divide by 1/3 b squared on both sides. And then my formula is no longer arranged to solve for volume, it's arranged to solve for height. So you can manipulate formulas by using these skills. So go ahead and do your assignment. Let me know if you have questions.